Hi there, welcome back to our little handmade home. My name is Tanya and I'm excited today to bring you a fun, fast little project for the holidays. We're going to be making 9-patch pot holders. Let's dive right in. Before we get into the how-to of making these cute little pot holders, let's talk a little bit about what we're going to use. I have here 3 fat quarters out of a bundle that I've chosen because I think they go together really nicely. As you can see from these, you can use 2 fabrics. I'm going to use 3 for this one, but I'll show you how to place them if you only want to use 2. I have some Insel Bright batting. I have a little bit of ribbon that we're going to use for the loops to hang them. I have my rotary cutter, my mat, my ruler. I've got my iron off to the side and everything's lit up with my awesome Cricut lamp. So let's dive right into what we're going to do to make these 9-patch pot holders. These little pot holders are made using a basic 9-patch block. And if you want more information about how to do a 9-patch, I will leave links down below to my full post and a different video. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with 5-inch squares to make our block. So I've decided to make the black my center. So I'm going to need 1 5-inch square of this fabric. I'm going to need 4 of this fabric and 4 of this fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and cut those. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in strips so that I still have enough fabric left over that I could make my backing out of this if I want. Because of course your backing is going to be bigger than 5 inches. Now I have ironed this fabric out and I have starched it just because I like to work with starched fabric. So I'm going to start by trimming my selvage. I'm going to trim this edge, trim off the raw edges. Okay, and as I can tell from my scraps that I've caught all the fabrics. And then I'm going to cut a 5-inch strip. Now, I know that I only need 1 square out of the black, but given that it's black with snowflakes, I'm going to be able to use this for lots of other things. So there's my strip of 5 inches. So I'm going to set the rest of this aside for now. And then I'm going to cut 5-inch squares. Okay, so I've lined it up on my grid. I'm going to go ahead and cut 5-inch squares. Now, I only need 1 of the black, so I am going to take the rest of this strip off because I might be able to use that for something else. I may end up cutting it into 5 inches later, who knows. But I do need 4 of the other 2 fabrics. So now I have all of my squares cut. So we're just going to lay out our block. I know that I want my black in the center. I want my white corners, which leaves the red going in between. Now, if this was directional fabric, of course, you'd want to play with that a little bit, make sure that it's going the right direction. But that's going to be my basic layout. When you look at these ones and you see that I've only got the 2 colors, I've got the blue and then the red print, this center matches my corners. So if you only want to use 2 fabrics, make sure this center is the same as your corners. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch up my block and I'll be back to show you how to cut it. All right, as you can see, I have my 9-patch sewn. what I did was I pressed the top and the bottom row this direction. I pressed the center one this direction so that I could nest them together. And then when I put the rows together, I just pressed them in the same direction. It doesn't matter because we're going to be cutting them. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut in half. We're going to cut in half based on the center square. Okay, so that your center square should be 4.5 inches at this point, because of course you had a 5-inch square and then you had your 1/4 inch seam allowance. So all you have to do to check that, of course, is measure. So I'm at 4.5 there. So I'm going to cut, as I said, at 2 1/4. So I'm just going to line up. I'm going to line up my edges there. And then I'm going to cut once this way, and then I'm going to cut this way. So I'm going to cut right down the middle this direction. If you can, without moving your fabric at all, we're going to do the same thing going this direction. If it shifts a little bit, just straighten it out. So again, we're going to go for 2 1/4, because of course our squares are 4.5. If they're a little bit off, just adjust your cut line. You want to just make sure that you're in the middle. And with those 2 cuts, we have the tops of our pot holders. So just like that, you've got 4 pot holders. Now you can see how you could change these colors out. If I had made my corners the red and these the white, then that's what you would see. You would see a larger piece here. I think the white is fun, and knowing that these are only going to be used for Christmas time, they're not going to get a lot of heavy duty use. I'm okay with having a large white square on my pot holder. If you're making these for every day, you might want to consider having a darker square. So now that we have these cut, we're going to trim our batting. I am using Insulbright batting. This is a great heat resistant batting. Now make sure that when you're using this, you're always following the manufacturer's directions, because you want to be sure that you have enough batting to protect your hands from the oven. These pot holders that I'm making are only going to be used more like trivets, so I'm not too worried about doubling them up. If you're going to be using them to pull things out of the oven this way, you might want to double up your batting. Always double check the manufacturer's recommendations, because you don't want to burn yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my tops out on here with a little bit of a gap in between, so that I can just go ahead and cut them all in a row. As you can see, I'm not going to have enough space to get 4, so I'll have to pull out another piece. But you want to trim your batting just a little bit bigger than your pot holder top, so that if it shifts at all when you're quilting it, you're not going to have nothing on the edge. And then we'll trim them up to proper size after. A note about the Insulbright batting: do not ever, ever, ever put it in the microwave. The other thing you have to be careful of is if your fabric has little embellishments like this. I don't know if you can really see that on there, but it's got some sparkle to it. If your fabric has this, don't put it in the microwave. It is not safe. So as you can see around this one and 3 sides of these ones, I've left anywhere from 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch extra, which is plenty. We're going to be trimming them down to size afterwards. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to quilt these 2 layers. As you can see, there's no quilting on the back of these. It's just the fabric. And so what I did was I just did a decorative simple top stitch. You can do whatever you like on here. You could do some squiggles, you could do some fancy lines, you can, you know, do whatever suits your fancy. I like to keep these very simple. So I'm going to take mine over to the machine. I'm going to go ahead and quilt these, and I'll be back to show you how I finish them. All right, these are now quilted in place. As you can see, this stitch is very simple. It's going to hold in place. It'll be just fine. And we're going to be sewing around the edge. So now we're going to trim these down. Just going to trim them along the side down to size. So go ahead and do that for each of your pot holders. Once your pot holders are trimmed, we need to cut our backing. So at this point, if you wanted to make these a little bit smaller, you can absolutely do that. I would recommend using a square and work from your top square, okay? Because that's going to give you the size that you're looking for. So if you wanted to trim this down to 6.5 or even 5, it doesn't matter which, but putting your square up here, whether you want it that size, maybe you want it only 1.5 inches, you know, so keep it lined up. Maybe it's 1 3/4 that you want it. Use your top square to determine your size. So because I've already trimmed down my fat quarters, I am not going to have enough of the one fabric to do the backing for all of them. I could use a different fat quarter, but let's use up what we have. So that you can see it more easily, I'm going to put these on here. I can't do 2 this way because it's too long. I could do 3, but I don't want to have 3 in 1 for backing. So I'm going to do 2 of this one, and I'm going to do 2 of the red. So this will be my backing fabric. Because we're not doing traditional binding on this, we are going to sew the backing fabric on and then turn it right side out. Because of that, you want to make sure that you're trimming your back fabric to match the size of your square. So you could do that one of 2 ways. You can just measure your square and you can cut that way, or if you feel confident, you could lay it right on top of the backing and cut it that way. So either way, go ahead and cut out your backing pieces, and then I'll show you how we're going to put them together. So our next step is to cut our ribbon. I've been using about a 6-inch length. Seems to be good enough for loops. So go ahead and cut 4 of those. This is an optional step. If you think that you or whoever you're giving these to is not going to hang them, don't worry about it, but it does add a nice little finishing touch on them. I think it looks cute, and I love this ribbon. It kind of looks like, it reminds me of peppermints. Take a piece of ribbon, fold it in half, and place it against the small square. That's where I've chosen to do it on here. It actually doesn't matter if you do the small square or the big square. I like how the small one looks. Just make sure that you're consistent. So fold it in half, lay your backing, right sides together of course, onto the front of your pot holder, and you can clip that in place, pin it if you like. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start stitching on this side where your ribbon is tucking out. So start stitching here, stitch all the way around to about here. Leave yourself about 3 inches to be able to fold or to turn your pot holder the right side out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back and show you how I put these all together. So I've gone ahead and finished putting the backing onto each of my pot holders. So I've got all 4 here, so I want to just show you in the different stages where I'm at. So as you can see, maybe might be easier on this side, I started my stitching here as I indicated, and I stitched all the way around to this edge. So I left an opening about this big in order to be able to flip my fabric over. The next step is you're going to trim your corners, and then you're going to use this opening to turn it right side out. And of course, the bigger the opening that you leave, the easier it is to flip around. I have this tool to poke out my corners. So being careful not to go through any seams. And of course, on this side, you could just pull the ribbon. Be careful that you don't rip through any of your seams, pressing too hard to poke your corners out. So just square them off like that, and then you're going to press it. After that, you're going to press your edges down flat, and you can clip those in place as you stitch, because you want to close that up. And then finally, stitch all the way around. That will close your edges, and it'll also give you a nice decorative stitch. So just like that, you have created quick and easy handmade gifts for Christmas or for any time of year, or honestly, keep them for yourself. This cute little handmade gift is ready for gifting, and I'm pretty sure the recipient is going to love it. Be sure to tune in again next week when we'll be back at the sewing machine again for another holiday project. Thanks.